So he says to the guy, no, get this. I says this. I says this, get this. I says this to the guy. I says, wrecked him, damn near killed him. Oh, sorry, hang on. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, please like, share, subscribe. I am the immortal Kevin Donovan, and I'm here to talk about something maybe not so funny. I'm here to talk about addiction. I have a lot of experience in that myself. Try to make videos to be funny, to be entertaining, just sharing my story. There is no right or wrong that I'm giving you. I'm just giving you my experience, my take on stuff. I spent a lot of years drinking real heavy, and I just kind of want to talk about that. So I try and open up with a joke. I try and make the mood light. This one might be a little heavy. We'll see how it goes. I got my king hat. Can you see that? It's a lion that says king. A lion would never cheat on his wife, but Tiger would. See what I did there? Tiger Woods. So to switch gears, gear down, big shifter. We're gonna go into a more serious topic about addiction. Like I said, I was a pretty solid drinker for 20 years. Part of my college experience was getting into drinking, smoking weed. I did some shrooms once. I never got into the heavy drugs. I never got into heroin or crack or anything like that. I never smoked meth, nothing. I never did any of that. That was never my thing. Tried a little bit of cocaine here and there. I did try a few pills. I don't know what they were. They made me feel pretty good, but I don't know what they were. They had a fancy name at the time. I don't remember what it was. I remember they had these pills and they crushed them up at a party. Some of the guys were snorting it, and they told me, they said, just lick your finger, go right in there, and then just lick it. So I did that, and like 5 minutes later, I was on cloud fucking 9. I was like, whoa, I feel amazing. I just felt, it might have been ecstasy, I don't know, but I didn't really get the tactile, like I didn't want to touch everybody, but I just felt warm and happy and love in my head, and it was just I felt so good, but I also felt an immediate need to go back and like eat that whole pile. And I knew in my head, like, that stuff's bad. That's highly addictive. I'm not sure what it was. I don't know what it was. Not cocaine. It might have been smashed up ecstasy. I don't know what it was. Don't do drugs you don't know what they are. That's rule number 1. Don't do drugs if you don't know what they are. Part of my college experience was getting into partying and drinking, and there was a social aspect to that I really, I never had before, and I really craved, and I really, really, truly enjoyed it. Alcohol turned into being in a bad relationship for me. Started out all great, fun and happy and good times. Slowly, it started turning into, I just kept giving and giving, and I gave everything I had to alcohol, and it never gave me anything real back. There was many reasons that I went into drinking. There was many reasons that I stayed with it. I wish that I knew then what I know now, but with age comes wisdom, and you have to go through things to learn things. Like you don't just come out and know shit. You know what I mean? Like the world has to knock you around a little bit before you get your footing, and that's unfortunately the way it goes. We're all so scared to let our children grow up and go because your kids are gonna fuck up just like you fucked up, and hopefully they won't fuck up so bad that they can't get out of it and learn from it, and hopefully they do, and hopefully you did. I mean, I did, but it took me a long time. I spent a couple of decades wallowing around pretty much in misery, masquerading as happy, because I thought that the alcohol was my friend, and the bad feelings that I had in my heart and I had in my mind, I would shut up because I would drown them in booze. I didn't realize my relationship with alcohol had gone so sour and so down south, like it just went so bad, and I didn't even realize it. And I didn't realize what I was doing to my family, my mother and father. They worried about me immensely, and I pretty much told them to shut up. I'm good. Leave me alone. A couple of my friends expressed concern once in a while, but again, that was my same response was, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. You don't hassle with me. So it was an unfortunate thing, drinking was. So it took me a long time. So it's hard to get into this, and to pick one point and fixate in is difficult because there's so many things that wrap around an addiction. Addiction is when somebody uses something to help them cope and overcome bad feelings. So if you have bad feelings or bad thoughts become bad feelings, and those bad feelings manifest bad behavior. The one thing we do, like if you're at a campfire and you stick your hand too close to the fire, your body goes, ow, and you immediately snap your hand back. Very similarly, very like that, if you're mentally upset or emotionally upset, your body reacts to try and get you out of that, to help protect you. And one of the things that people get to quickly is drugs and alcohol mainly because it's the legal drug that we are allowed to have. We as the American public are allowed to have alcohol. And they tried to take alcohol away once during Prohibition. Apparently that didn't work too well. Not only is it being a billion-dollar business, there's huge gains for all parties involved. It's a drug. Don't get it twisted by any means. Alcohol is a drug. It is an addictive drug, and it's probably the worst drug out there for your body. It affects multiple systems in your body on multiple levels. It fucks you up. And it does it so gradually that people don't notice. It does it so little by little, people aren't aware of what's happening to them. People that become alcoholics, like myself, completely unaware of how far down the rabbit hole I went. Because when you drink, you lose all social cues, right? You don't care who's watching. You don't care who's looking at you do stuff. You don't care about consequences. You don't think about the next day. You just, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, give me another one. Yeah, let's do that. It's fun too. Blah, blah, blah. I was a wild man when I partied. I was absolutely a wild man. I felt that I was never heard or never validated. So when I was drunk, I was the loudest guy there. If there was an epicenter of crazy, I was in the middle of it, trying to be out crazy the crazy. I was at parties, dropping my pants. I was at parties tackling Christmas trees. Jason, you were there. I was all over the place doing wild shit for years. I was in the bars taking bets, doing stupid shit for attention, and doing stupid shit because I was afraid that nobody would know who I was. I wanted people to remember me. And I didn't care if you were laughing with me or at me. I didn't care if you loved me or hated me. You were going to remember me. I wanted that reputation so bad. I worked on that so much. I revolved my entire life around alcohol that it came first. Whether I was in a relationship or not, alcohol came first. Any job that I had in my 20s, I didn't give a fuck about that job. I just wanted the paycheck so I could go and drink. But alcohol always came first. I specifically designed my life so I could work second shift, which is the prime shift for alcoholics, because you get up late in the day, you go and put in 8 hours, you work from what's a regular shift? Right now I work 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. and it's only because I've been grandfathered into this, because I've been at the same place for the last 4 years and I'll probably stay there as long as they let me. Since I've got sober, I've realized that I don't know that I care for the 3 to 11 shift. It's not bad. I have other things I can do in the morning now. But before, you'd go in at 3 o'clock, so you don't wake up till 2 in the afternoon. You go in at 3, you work till 11. And when the bar, now in pre-COVID days, bars were open till 1 a.m. They'd open up at 1 p.m. They're open till 1 a.m. Usually if you're nice to the bartender, you're local or you're regular, they'd slide you a few or they'd let you take a few home. So you can get out at 11 o'clock or maybe you work a 2 to 10 or a 3 to 11. 2 to 10s are the best because you get out and you still have enough time to run to the bar and you can still spend couple hours at the bar, drinking, partying, doing your thing. Get blottoed, find an after hours spot, party till 4 in the morning, get home, however you got home. I chose to drive and I'm still paying for that. Do not drink and drive. And party till X hours in the evening or the wee hours of the morning, if you will, or if you won't. I did it anyway. And just got blottoed. Just gone, bro. And I could just sleep in, sleep till noon, 1 o'clock, then get up a little bit hungover. The more I drank, my body was so used to the alcohol, the hangover started not existing. My brain was still a little fuzzy. I didn't feel quite 100%, but I could get up to an alarm clock and go to work and go function. It's wild. A lot of people that don't drink very much or very often, they'll have one big wild night out and then they'll be out of commission for a while. And that's what the hangover, part is supposed to do to you. Like you drink poison and your body's rejecting it. And that's why you puke sometimes when you drink too much. Your body is violently rejecting the poison that you're dumping into it. For some reason, it's a thing in this country that you're supposed to be able to drink a lot of alcohol and not have it affect you very much, which is unfortunate because that puts a lot of young men and young women and young people in danger because they think they're supposed to be able to drink a huge amount. Really, that just gets them in trouble, man. Hurts your body, makes you do stupid shit, and can get you in a lot of trouble. But I lived that life. I was all about that life. I forget where I was, and I'm trying not to say all the time. But where was I? I was just talking about drinking and and how bad it is for you. Oh, feelings. Bad thoughts become bad feelings, become bad behavior. So the idea is to, when you go sober, is to catch those bad thoughts, change them into good thoughts. Good thoughts become good feelings, become good behavior. We always protect ourselves no matter what. And a way to protect yourself without drinking is to catch what you're thinking and change your thinking. And when you can learn how to do that, you will actually have a different outcome. Now, a lot of people so in denial about their alcoholism, and it's so ingrained in society that they think it's normal. You should finish work and drink beer, or you should, when you're barbecuing with your friends, you should have drinks. You should bring a bottle. You should bring some wine. You should have something. That's literally not the case. There's 320 million Americans. Out of that, 20 million identify as alcoholic. That leaves 300 million people, the majority, that do not live that way. It's a small percentage of people that drink. Now, I'm not talking about have a glass of wine with dinner and, that's it. I'm talking about the people that drank like I drank, like the people that would have 30, 40 drinks in a night, people that would drink a bottle of some sort of liquor as a shot in between their beers and drop, $100, $200 at the bar. That was my kind of drinking. That was not a good idea. I don't recommend that. That's not good for your liver. It's not good for your blood pressure. It's not good for your brain. It's not good for your hormone levels. It's not good for your body chemistry. Bad all around. It messes with everything. I have hypertensive. I'm not hypertensive anymore, but I was hypertensive. I had wicked high blood pressure. I didn't even realize it. My resting heart rate was like 100. That's not good, bro. It's got to be down like 70 to 90 is where it's okay. My resting heart rate was 100, and it was just because doing so much damage between smoking cigarettes, drinking so much all the time. I was just damaging my body. Wildly dehydrated, cramping, living in pain, headaches, you name it. I was suffering physically from drinking not just too much, but drinking all the time too much. And getting pulled over, getting a second DWI and being made to live sober was a blessing in disguise. Obviously, I had to fight the system. I fought the system. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be sober. I didn't want to have this thrust upon me. But the higher power in the universe itself said, hey, chill out, bro. You've had your day. And you know what? I did. I had 20 years of partying to the extreme. I got so many stories about drinking and screwing around, tackling Christmas trees, jumping into houses through windows, riding on top of cars or riding on the hood of cars, going way too fast, passing out in snowbanks, getting in fights. There's a bunch of stupid shit that happened that I will always have memories of. But I also have a lot of bad memories of the times where getting in those fights, getting after those fights, fights with my friends, fights with my girlfriends, fights with people that I cared about. I was wrong, and sometimes I knew I was wrong, but I was so drunk, I was so embarrassed. I was scared of being that stupid, and I was so drunk that I would double down on my own dumbness, if that makes any sense. I believe they call that cognitive dissonance, where you've been proven wrong, but you still double down on whatever you're arguing about. And I did that all the time because I just couldn't face the fact that I was wrong and that I was living my life in a bad way. Not an incorrect way, a bad way. That's a way to live. It's just not a good way. I still have a lot of friends that drink a lot, and I don't care if they drink. That's up to them. Live your life. Live and let live is one of the sayings they have in AA. I know that because I went to a few meetings, but I never stayed with it. But that's a good saying. Live and let live. I'm going to live my life sober. I'm going to make my decisions. I'm going to be okay. Some people want to drink. Go ahead. Do your thing. I hope you do it responsibly. I hope you do it amongst friends and family, and you do it when you're in safe areas. I hope nothing bad happens to you, truly. But you also got to know that you can completely live your life 100% alcohol free and still be completely happy and content with it. You do not have to drink. That's not a requirement of adulthood. You were so happy in your life. Think of this. You were so happy in your life when you were a kid. You were completely drug and alcohol free for years and years and years and years. And then all of a sudden, somewhere in your teens probably, you caught up with friends, bad friends, good friends, whoever. You started drinking, doing drugs, and you thought you were cool or whatever. It doesn't matter. But you had so many years of sobriety that you didn't even know that drinking was a thing. You were so happy. There's a way to get back to that. There really, truly is. And a lot of recovering alcoholics like myself really can adhere to, hey, there's a life out there after drinking, and it's pretty fucking sweet. There's a lot of reward out there for when you're not drinking. There's a lot of good times out there. There's a lot of good people out there. If you're a hardcore drinker, you're in the minority. If you're a hardcore addict, you're in the minority. There's a majority of people that don't live that way. And there's a lot of people out there that have gotten out of that or have never been in that but want to help those people. They're sympathetic and empathetic to that plight. And I highly recommend you reach out to them, you know. Like some of my friends, I'd like to sit them down and talk to them and say, hey, man, why are you living like this? Why you keep doing this? You know, how old are you? Are you 22? Like, it's one thing if you're 18 to 25. If you're drinking, partying, and being an asshole, but you're 22, that's kind of what you're supposed to do. That's a rite of passage almost. It's just, I hope that it doesn't become an addiction, and I hope it doesn't become a regular thing in your life. I hope that eventually you can put that toy down and move on as an adult. I didn't know that. What alcohol did to me for a long time was stunt my growth. And yeah, no, I know, I'm short. I get it. 5'8", 5'9". Yeah, shut up. I don't mean wide, because trust me, I can get wider. And I don't mean height. I mean, mentally and emotionally, my growth had shut down for years. And I stayed late teens, early 20s mentality for 2 decades. And I was unaware of that. I just didn't understand why people were acting certain ways because I wasn't at that maturity level. I didn't understand why people were making certain decisions because I wasn't at that maturity level. I wasn't grown up enough to handle that addiction, and I didn't know that. That's part of the denial of it. It's a crazy slippery slope you're on when you do that. And it's only now in my early 40s and going to therapy that I've realized I have so much growing to do and so much maturing to do. And it's kind of, once you understand, you know, what to do, it kind of catches up quickly. You don't do it overnight. It's a process. It still takes a few years. But I think that I've come further in the last 2 years than I did in the previous 20, if that makes any sense. I think that everyone should go get some therapy. Everyone should go get a counselor, someone professional to talk to. Even if you don't have a drug and alcohol problem, it's a good idea to find someone to discuss anything that went wrong in your life, because everything is connected. Everything from your childhood to your adolescence to your teens to your adult years, it's all connected. And things that happened to me when I was very young, I put into my head and reinforced over and over and over. I felt that I was not a worthless person because I didn't feel that I was heard. I didn't feel that I was validated. I didn't feel that I had a voice. I didn't feel very much compassion. It was there and I was heard, but I didn't know it. And it's the way my parents and I interacted. And it's the way my sister and I interacted. And it's the way close people and I interacted. When I was put down, when I was in, grade school, middle school was bad years for me. When I was put down and picked on in middle school, instead of fighting back and trying to overcome that, I just took it as, no, you're right. I am stupid, or I am dumb, I am fat, I am slow, I am blah, blah, blah. And I would beat myself up mentally, and I'd keep abusing my own self. Even after they were done abusing me, I would continue to do that because I thought that was the truth. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And it's only now that I'm realizing that. So if a human being is a blank computer, so back in the day, there's a computer, an operating system was called DOS, D-O-S, DOS. And DOS would have a C prompt. It would have the C colon and a little arrow, and the cursor would just blink. Hard drive is on, computer's on, and it's waiting for you to enter a command. You type in a command to run a program, or you start programming something, do something, give it a command, and it'll execute that. If you keep pumping in the same program over and over and over and over, it's going to be in the computer. For human beings, it stays. So if you keep pumping the same program into that computer that only has a couple of programs, you keep pumping one in over and over and over, guess what? That's going to get stuck in the hard drive. And for me, it did. So having feelings of insecurity, having feelings of insignificance, having feelings of worthlessness, I felt bad. And this led to depression, anxiety, and they manifested in different ways, different things. But to help quiet that and help to get rid of that, I would walk into any place, and I would be embarrassed immediately. So to overcome that, I would act wild. I'd act crazy. I'd try and be the funniest one in there. If I could get you on my side, if I could make you laugh, if I could start quoting a movie line for line and impress you with something, then it would distract you from who I really was, because I didn't think who I really was worth anything. And that was the problem. And when I found drinking in college, I didn't have to act wild. You just drink and you're gonna be wild. So that's what I did. And I found a home for it. Chris Farley was always one of my favorite actors of all time. Still is. Gone too early. Gone too soon. But man, could I quote Tommy Boy and Black Sheep. I love those movies. They're hysterical. His Matt Foley motivational speaker skit on SNL. I quote all of those line for line and act just like him, because I was a bigger guy, kind of chubby. Boy, I'd break out my Foley. I'd be living in a van down by the river. Boy, I'd break that out and people would I'd crack everybody up at the bar, at the party or whatever. I didn't have to be Kevin Donovan. I could be Chris Farley. And I didn't have to feel embarrassed because I could drink a bunch of alcohol and I wouldn't feel that. So it started that way. Covering up feelings, hiding stuff, taking away the insecurity. And then it started to get darker and darker and darker, as it will, as you continue in your addiction or your alcoholism. Alcohol is a drug. You will get addicted to alcohol. It's called alcoholism, but it is an addiction. Don't fool yourself. It just gets darker. I would get darker mentally because I kept beating myself up. I kept berating myself, telling myself, you're not worth it. You're not good enough. You're stupid. You suck. People hate you. Why do you even try? These things would rattle around in my head over and over and over and over. And it was hurtful. I was living in pain. I was suffering every single day. Every single day. The thing that would turn off that carnival of bullshit was booze. Alcohol. Going and drinking. Getting through my fucking day. Just hammering out a day. However I could. Trying to be somebody I wasn't. I loved being in sales. I loved being in retail. I worked retail for a long time. I loved being in retail because I could be an associate. I could be the sales associate. I had a name tag with a chest with a title, and people would ask me questions and I'd know the answer. And I could be, hey, how you doing today? All right. Yo, you looking at a treadmill? Let's talk about treadmills today. All right. What you got here is, and I could just get into a spiel. I didn't have to be shy, scared Kevin Donovan. I could be Kevin Donovan, the sales associate. Or Kevin Donovan, the customer service representative. I could be those people. And once I could get through my bullshit day of bullshitting who I wasn't, I could retreat into my car by myself, and I couldn't ride quietly. I had a mega stereo in my truck for a long time, and I still love mega stereos, blasting bass, subwoofers. Yeah, baby. But I would just crank music because it would shut up and drown out that bullshit carnival in my head. And I'd go straight to the bar. And then I'd see my friends or my bar associates because they were friends, but out of sight, out of mind. Once you stop going, you kind of get out of that circle. I still consider them friends, and if I see them, I'll go up, say hi, shake their hand, and they'll be super nice to me. But the only thing we really had in common, a lot of us, was just going to the bar and drinking, telling war stories, talking shit, open up the moonshine, and start telling lies. But that's a lot of fun, and that's a camaraderie you get through alcohol. For me, going to a therapist and talking about that carnival of bullshit, talking about how did that start? Where did that come from? How did those dots connect all the way up into, boom, all of a sudden, there's realization, there's understanding. And with that opening up to someone, building a rapport with a therapist, building that trust and being able to open up comes understanding. And once you finally get that understanding, then you can truly heal the disease. Okay, so if you're sick and you have a cough and you keep taking those wicked cough drops, those little red ones that taste real good, they're like kind of tart. I don't remember the name of them, but they're awesome. I could eat them like candy. Anyway, if you keep taking those to treat the cough, you're just gonna stay sick. If you go to the doctor and you get medicine, the medicine's gonna treat the disease that's in you, and then your cough's gonna go away. So if you fix the disease, the symptom will stop. For me, drinking was a symptom that was manifested through the disease of addiction and through my mental disease of depression, anxiety, and my addictive personality. So there's a lot there to go on. I don't want anyone to think that I'm preaching. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy that went through a lot of shit, and I have a lot of friends that are still in the life, if you will, and I love them dearly, and I hope that one day they can find a way through it. I wish that some of my friends could find the light and get through the ego, get through the denial, and understand how they're living. If you ask yourself, how am I living? And if you can answer that, I'm living good, without hesitation and without worrying about it, then you're okay. Do what you want to do. If you ask yourself, how am I living? And you go, why? You have to ask yourself why, and you have to analyze that. You have to dig deep, and you have to dig through the bullshit and find the real answer to that. Because sometimes the real answer isn't obvious, and it's not real easy to hear. But once you do answer that, then you can go ahead and start working on fixing it. You want to make the best choices you can today that give you the best opportunities tomorrow. Today's preparation is tomorrow's performance. So if you're just screwing around, you don't give a shit, well, then you don't care, and then, would do whatever you want. Hopefully you don't mess up too bad. Hopefully you don't hurt yourself or anybody else. But if you are thinking, man, I drink too much, man, I'm smoking too much, man, this is bad, man, I'm not living right. You're not. If you think you have that issue, you probably do. You could talk to me. I'll talk to you, leave a like, leave a comment, hit me up on Facebook, on Messenger or something. I'll chat with you. The best thing to do is go find yourself a professional in the field of either recovery or a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Talk to a professional. Find a counselor. Try and open up. Because once you can really get rid of that baggage, get rid of that weight, get rid of that stuff that's holding you down, you can heal the problems. Those symptoms will go away. For me, drinking was a symptom of all that bad shit that was in my head and all the bad shit that was in my heart. And once I could actually build the rapport, like I said, you can unload all that crap and actually start living. The grass is greener on the other side. Well, the grass is greener where you water it and where you take care of it. So if you're in a mud puddle and you hate your shit, stand up, dry yourself off, and clean your area. It'll become nice again. You can do that. So I highly recommend that everybody get on the right track. Do what you want to do. I mean, live how you want to live. I'm not the fucking life police. I'm not here to be a goalie and stop anyone from doing what they want to do. Do what you want to do. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, do what you want to do. Here's the thing. If what you want to do hurts you, it probably hurts other people. So you might want to check that. You're like, I'm not hurting myself. I can drink as much as I want. I'm not hurting myself. Really? Really? Are you pushing things off? Is it affecting your schedule? Is it affecting your timing? A lot of people have so much ego and so much denial that they won't even admit to that. A lot of people, there's one guy I know, I will not say his name, does super mental gymnastics in his own mind. And he makes sure he qualifies everything he does, even if it's completely fucked. He still has a reason or an excuse. And we all know one of those guys, or maybe more than one. One of those people, not just guys, girls do that too, men and women, people do that they will not admit, for whatever reason, that cognitive dissonance is so strong in them. They will not admit that there's an issue. They will not admit there's a problem. They will not admit they're hurting themselves. They will not admit that they're hurting other people. And that's a problem. You need to know that what you do affects other people, either huge or small, and then especially if there's children involved. You got kids, they're going to see what you do and they're going to emulate that. They're going to see how you act and they're going to act like that. They're going to say the words that you say. So, take all those things into consideration. If you think there's a problem, there is. Because you wouldn't have thought there's a problem if there wasn't a problem. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you for watching. Thanks for getting to this point. I don't know if I've overdone this video or underdone this video. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me your story. Tell me what happened to you. Tell me what you do. Tell me if you have a problem. Tell me if you don't have a problem. Go ahead. Let me have it. Let me know. I really am curious. I'm really, truly curious to see where people are at. Live and let live, man. Do what you want to do. Enjoy your life. Live happy. Live free. But make sure what you're doing isn't impacting other people negatively. And if it does, you got to check what you're doing. Try and modify that. I hope y'all have a good evening, day. Whenever you're watching this, have a good rest of the time that you have. Please check back to the channel and check out more videos. I'm going to come back with story time again sometime soon. And I have no idea what I'll talk about then, but it'll probably be pretty cool. Tell you that. Until next time, peace.